What's going on, my fellow wealth creators? Matty Ice here. Welcome to another training. I wanted to do a quick video breaking down what I believe is the #1 course for learning private money lending. And I've talked a lot about, or I've mentioned this many times on my channel, how I've always planned to use my infinite banking policy to do private money lending as a way to build wealth using my policies. And obviously, that starts with educating yourself first. And what was really interesting is when I started wanting to learn, like, okay, what does it take to be a private money lender? Like, what does an entire deal look like? What does that process look like? What are the contracts involved? Insurance, title companies? How do you know which borrowers to work with and investors to work with? You know, how do you analyze a deal? Things like that. And I couldn't find much. Like I found bits and pieces. There was nothing really organized into like an academy or a course that would walk me through step by step how to become a private money lender until now. And that's why I want to share this course with you. It's just been awesome. I'm going through it for the 4th time right now. And I wanted to show you guys, if you are interested in becoming a private money lender, which I assume you are, otherwise you probably wouldn't be watching this. But I wanted to introduce this to you guys and share it with you because it provides such an incredible foundation for becoming a private money lender. And I just think the education part of the journey is so important to make sure that we know. I mean, I talk about this all the time on my channel, is to know what you are putting your money into, know how these things work. And private money lending is no different. Like, we don't want to just be lending out our money to anybody. And, you know, not especially without knowing the process. Also, what do you do if something goes wrong? Like, what's the contingency plan here? Like, what are you able to do? And that's actually why one of the reasons I'm drawn so much to private money lending is because it's actually a lot less risky than most people think, because it's secured by a hard asset, real estate. And if you don't go over like 65-70% loan to value, you know, you really keep your risk very, very low in these deals. And it's a much more passive approach to investing in real estate. And it's just a really, really powerful way to build wealth, in my opinion. I'm really excited to get started with it. So what I want to do is just walk you through the main parts of the course so you can see exactly what you would get access to if it's something that you're interested in. It's also really cheap. Like, there's courses like this that sell for thousands of dollars. At the time of this recording, it's pretty cheap. And because I'm a referral partner now, I'll have an affiliate link down below, and I can get you guys a 10% off as well. There's a discount code for the course in the description, so make sure you use that. And I appreciate you going through my link. It does help support the channel. But let me go ahead and share my screen and show you what we have here. It's also not a super long course either. It gets like right to the point. There's not a lot of fluff, if any. It just gets right to the point, which I really, really appreciate. You're probably able to go through this whole thing in a couple of hours, maybe. Like I said, I'm on my 4th time going through this already. So it's called Private Funding Academy, and we've got an introduction category here, obviously. All right, the fundamentals, what private money lending is, what it's not. And this was a big part of understanding the risk associated with it, and how it's actually a far less risky strategy for building wealth than a lot of times what people think. So it goes through risk reward, Dodd-Frank, which this was a really good training too, because it's actually not something we have to worry about. This was back in I think because of the 2008 financial crisis, they came out with Dodd-Frank and all these other things. Makes it a lot harder to lend money, but not for private money lenders lending on real estate, lending to investors, lending to corporations, etc. So this was a really good, like, kind of clarification lesson. All right, this talks about working with your team and building your team. Who you want on your team as a private money lender. All right, the security, again, because this is like, we're not just giving people money and hoping they pay us back. It's not a personal loan. It's actually secured by the property as well. Or it's actually secured by the property. So really, really powerful. Let's see, goes through. Okay, so right here, guys, chapter 2, this right here, the loan process. This one lesson right here was worth the entire cost of the academy right here, at least for me, because this was a step-by-step roadmap breaking down the entire process from start to finish, what it looks like to lend money on a real estate deal. This was awesome. I think it was like 16 or 17 steps that she breaks down in just a ton of detail. You can actually download the flow charts right here. Which I have done. I have it in my notebook, and I look at it every day. I'm just trying to, I'm just memorizing it, going over it as many times as I can throughout the day. And I just think it's really important, and it lowers, like, anytime you have knowledge and education about what you're putting your money into, it significantly reduces your risk because you know what to expect. You know what's happening. You know what you need to do. If something goes wrong, like this right here, this lesson is exactly what I was looking for the entire time. Everything else was just kind of a bonus for me. But yeah, going through the loan process from start to finish, absolutely fantastic lesson. Lender's application, which they do give templates as well. Qualified borrowers too, like how do you qualify a borrower? Questions to ask, going through their credibility kit or their business plan, whatever you want to call it. That's right here, borrower's credibility kit. They give an example of it. And just some things to look for when you are qualifying potential borrowers and investors. All right, evaluating potential loans. This was fantastic. All right, going through like what your loan to value should be and just putting all the pieces of the puzzle together to see if it is a deal that you want to lend on. Deal summary, funding request. All right. Let's see, evaluating the loan, understanding comparable sales. This was awesome. Right here, guys, repairs summary. This was awesome. So, even though we're not, as the lenders, we're not the ones doing like the repair work and dealing with contractors and things like that, we still want to understand how to put a repair summary together. Like, what are the average repair costs based on square footage and, my local area, et cetera. Like, this lesson was fantastic. Not only that, they have a phenomenal tool that makes it really, really easy to summarize potential repair costs, depending on a few different factors, but one of them being the square footage of the house, et cetera. So this was absolutely fantastic, and also a really good resource you can share with your borrowers and investors. Maybe if they're a little bit newer, or even if they're not, like, hey, this is an awesome tool for evaluating and getting an idea of what your repair cost could be. So a great resource to share with your investors too. All right, here's the decision to lend and term sheet. This is a template that they give you. This is what we send to the borrower after we've done our due diligence, and it's something that we do want to lend on. So this basically says, hey, I'm going to lend you XYZ amount. Here's the interest rate. It's going to be interest only or whatever, balloon payment at the end, et cetera. The other thing I forgot to mention too about the credibility kit for the borrowers too, I think is really important, is knowing what their contingency plans are if their initial strategy does not work out. So for example, if they're doing a fix and flip, so we're going back to the qualified borrower here and their credibility kit, all right, or their business plan. Like, you want to know, okay, so if the fix and flip doesn't work out the way that you initially planned, what is your backup plan? Are you going to I don't know, you're going to turn it into an Airbnb property? Are you going to, refinance it, turn it into a rental property? Like, what's the backup plan here? Maybe assign it to another investor. Having backup plans is really, really important. And you want to know what those are. All right. So this was a phenomenal chapter right here. Chapter 4, when the loan is approved, going through all the documents, insurance, title, dealing with attorneys, the closing process. Man, I just tell you, like, this stuff right here is just phenomenal. It basically goes into more detail of that loan process that I showed you earlier. That was kind of in chapter 2, a 30,000 foot overview of the deal process from start to finish. This right here, chapter 4, goes into a lot more detail about those specific steps. So awesome stuff. Final requirements following, or like loan closing and payoff. Draw request as well. I had no idea what that was initially. It's actually really important to know. We don't want to just give a ton of money for rehab costs, especially if you haven't worked with the borrower before and the investor. We want to set up, a lot of the times we want to set up draw requests so the money gets dispersed as parts of the rehab get completed. Really, really important stuff. Funding the loan. This was... So I don't use IRAs or 401ks, but they were talking about different ways to do private money lending. Practical issues, where do you find borrowers avoiding disputes, common issues, and right here, this was really important, options when things go wrong. So what do you do if the deal does not pan out, like the way that the investor wanted? Obviously, foreclosure would be the last thing that we want to do. But we do want to know what that process looks like, especially depending on what state you're in, too. If you're in judicial or non-judicial state, you need to know that, and you need to know what the process is to reclaim the property if you don't get paid back, right? So, but it goes through a lot of different ways to avoid that kind of stuff. And if you do your research, then it really shouldn't be that big of an issue anyway. So anyways, I'll go ahead and wrap up with that. I just want to give you guys a quick tour of this academy. Like, it's just fantastic, especially for the price. Like, man, it's really cheap for what it teaches. And so if you're looking to become a private money lender, even if you're not implementing the infinite banking concept, this is still definitely a course I would recommend. It's been very beneficial for me, and I wanted to share it with you guys and hook you up with a little discount. So make sure you use that code in the description, all right? So either way, hope you guys are crushing it. If you have any questions, drop them down in the comment section below. Love to hear your feedback, what you're doing along your private money lending journey, resources that you've used that have helped you as well. I would love to hear it. So hope you guys are crushing it, and I will talk to you in the next one. To your success, Matty Ice is out.